Welcome back to Fast Money. We are live at the NASDAQ market site in the heart of New York City. Let's get to the three headlines that could make you money tomorrow. Headline number one, how long will the gold bull last? Is the move in the commodity a short-term bounce as investors seek safety, or will the uptrend continue through year-end? Who better to ask than Peter Schiff, president of Euro Pacific Capital and author of the new book, How an Economy Grows and Why It Crashes. Peter, nice to see you again.
Nice to be back.
In terms of what has gone on in Europe, does it make you more bullish of gold or less?
Oh, absolutely. And unlike Dennis Garthman, I am an unapologetic gold bull. I've been bullish on gold for 10 years. And, what's happening makes me more bullish because Europe is becoming more like the United States. What Europe is saying is that the nations that share the euro currency, they will not be allowed to default. No matter how much money they borrow, the European Bank will simply print euros to pay it off. So they are going to inflate rather than default. That's a page right out of our playbook. They are going to make the euro almost as weak as the dollar. And, now I might have to say, instead of just going to 5,000, maybe gold's going to 10,000. And I know somebody there said, why isn't it at 2,000? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Just buy it.
In 2004, author Harry Dent said the Dow would break 40,000. Fast forward to author Mike Maloney, who says gold will hit $15,000 an ounce.
If history repeats and gold covers the same portion of the currency supply that it covered in 1934 and in 1980, then we should be seeing prices around $15,000 an ounce or higher.
When?
I used to say between 2015 and 2020. But it just feels like, with all the financial problems that we're seeing in the world, that it's probably going to be sometime earlier than that, within the next 3 to 5 years.
Now, 15,000 is an astronomically large number. How is it going to get there in just, even if you give you 10 years, 3 to 10 years?
It sounds like an astronomically large number from today's starting point, the launch pad here. However, for gold to have the same value against the dollar, in other words, the number of dollars that exist, what I'm talking about is base money here, which is the paper dollars basically that exist. It's dollars in circulation plus the dollars that the banks have on deposit at the Federal Reserve, all redeemable in paper dollars. In order for gold to cover the same portion of the currency supply, in other words, have the same value in relationship to those dollars as it had in 1934 and in 1980, that's the price it requires, $15,000 an ounce. So it would just be history repeating. It wouldn't be anything unusual whatsoever.
Mike counts currency supply as base money and outstanding revolving credit, meaning that the amount people spend on their credit cards and don't pay off counts as money in circulation. Now, this notion isn't new. According to Mike, in 1980, for 3 months, gold covered the amount of base money and outstanding revolving credit in circulation, which helped gold prices skyrocket to a high of $800. Also supporting higher gold prices in the 1980s was the Dow and gold's 1-to-1 ratio, and Mike thinks gold can do even better this time round.
Do you want to weigh in on gold, so to speak?
Yeah, Joe, I heard what you said at 7 o'clock, but the $5,000, it's not just some pie in the sky forecast. It's actually very simple math. Take M1, which is about $1.5 trillion. It varies a little bit. Take the U.S. gold supply, which is a little over 8,100 tons, metric tons, and just do the division. You come out with a number of about $5,000.
We are continuing with our coverage from the New Orleans Investment Conference, and joining me now is Doug Casey, founder of Casey Research and the author of one of the greatest selling financial books of all time. Doug, thank you for being with me today.
Thanks, Danielle. It's a pleasure to be here.
So you came off a very entertaining panel right now alongside Mark Faber and Peter Schiff. Mark Skousen was chairing it. So let's talk about the financial system. Do you think that the U.S. will go over the fiscal cliff?
Yes, of course. Europe is going to go first. They're going over it right now. There's beyond the point of no return, as far as I'm concerned, for Europe and for Japan and the U.S. and China, all the developed economies, quite frankly.
So let's bring this home, Doug, tie it all together and look at gold and the role it will play within this context. How do you see it positioned right now?
Well, gold remains the only financial asset that's not simultaneously somebody else's liability. And all of these governments all over the world are printing up trillions of currency units, and they're accelerating the pace of doing so. So I think there's going to be a panic into gold. There's going to be a mania in gold. There's going to be a bubble in gold in the future. And even though, as we speak now, it's at 1,700 or something like that, it's no longer cheap.
Right.
But it's going a lot higher. Now, we're looking at the biggest economic upset since the Industrial Revolution. And gold, I'll say it again, it's the only financial asset that's not simultaneously somebody else's liability.
And Doug, when you say higher, what are those numbers?
Oh, that's crystal ball gazing, Danielle. It depends on how stupid the government is and how out of line the mob's psychology becomes. But by the time this comes to a peak, I wouldn't be surprised in real terms, today's dollars anyway, to see the equivalent of $5,000 per ounce. But of course, that may be 10 or 15, considering how badly they're going to inflate the currency. Guessing wildly.
Doug Casey, thank you so much for your thoughts.
My pleasure, Danielle. Thank you.
And thanks for watching our coverage from the New Orleans Investment Conference. We'll have more for you on kitco.com.